So glad you could join us tonight, Catalina. So keep that in mind. The January meeting, we'll have an election for the vice chair and secretary. So I want to acknowledge a couple of things volunteers came out for recently. The first one was the Casa Grande Veterans Parade on November 6th. We had a great turnout, and I think we were spread out so far, people must have thought that there were thousands of Democrats in that parade. And we really did look good. We had our banners, our signs. It was a good event for us. We got a lot of positive feedback, especially when we made that turn. There were a couple of crazy people with that, whatever it was, Brandon thing or whatever. But for the most part, we got a very good reception. Some applause and some thumbs up and cheers. So I think we did a great job and we were very visible. The other thing was last Saturday, we had our Democrats at Casa Grande volunteer kickoff. And I want to give special thanks to Robin Jenkins, who hosted it and fed us and treated us to her wonderful hospitality. And Debbie Broom, who did all the work cutting those turfs and getting all of the materials together. Thank you very much. It was a successful event. Some of the people are still working on their turfs, and some of them are going to go back. And Marty and Cindy have asked for another turf. So it's the start of building relationships in precincts, in the community. We are going to definitely continue to do this and follow up with those people. Moving on to money, I want to thank LD11. LD11, you know, with the redistricting, LD11 as such may not be around for much longer. We want to share that LD11's been a great supporter of the Democrats at Casa Grande. Catalina's been wonderful to us. And as LD11 ends its time, they have some money that we put in a request to get a piece of. We'll see how that works out. But just keep in mind that LD11 has been here since I've been around in politics on the local level, not only as a candidate, but with Democrats at Casa Grande and as an executive board member with LD11. They've been very supportive of what we've been doing. Our membership dues, if you pay now, you can start paying now, and a few people have, it counts towards 2022. That's $20 per person. You can do that by check, sending it to our P.O. box. You can hand it to me sometime when you see me, or you can do it through the website using a credit card. So please, we will put that money to good use, I guarantee you, going into 2022 toward the election. You can also purchase one of these wonderful t-shirts. We have several sizes, and we have a couple of different models of hat. $20 for one, $35 if you buy a shirt and a hat combo. And they come in handy, especially when you're canvassing, but even at the grocery store. I've had people stop us at the grocery store in the register line and say, oh, we saw somebody else with that shirt. You know, what's going on? So consider making that purchase. We do have some available. All right, so you know, if you've been on here before, I have a collection of signs that I like to use as my background, and I've got a new one that you have not seen before, and it's right in the middle, and it's a "Say No to Phoenix Trash," which kind of is a weird sign to have if you don't know what's going on. But here's the thing: the city of Eloy is considering expanding and leasing the landfill that's in Eloy. There are a lot of issues that are wrong about it. The city is considering it pretty much because it's a revenue thing. They want to get out of the landfill business and bring in a few bucks. And I can understand that, but there are alternatives. And there are a lot of reasons to not want this. Right now, Eloy is known as the skydiving capital. With this expansion and lease, will be known as the dumpster dive capital. And the reason is, across the state, a lot of these landfills are filling up and being closed. The plan is for Republic, that's the name of the company that is promoting the lease and getting the lease from the city potentially. They want to use Eloy's landfill, expand it, and bring in garbage from all over the place. So immediately impacted would be Eloy. But Arizona City is going to be right next door. And I've got a speaker here tonight, Phil Lemler, who's a neighbor of mine, who really got this citizens group started that I've been working with a little bit. Debbie's helped put together a website for the group. I want everybody to know this is a potential problem for years to come. This is not just a, hey, it's going to be a short-term thing. This is a big deal. It's a big problem, and it's a long-term problem. So I've given a long intro. Phil has really done a lot of work getting this started and put together a lot of data, not only on the website, but making presentations to the Eloy City Council. I'm going to turn it over for a few minutes to Phil Lemler to bring you up to date on what this is all about. Phil?
Thank you, Ralph. Everything that Ralph has said is true. In essence, they want to take the little Eloy landfill, which is, it gets about 9,000 tons per year of trash, and bring in something over 400,000 tons of trash per year. This would be coming from Phoenix, as well as Tucson, and probably other areas of the state as well, and maybe even from out of state. Out of state trash transportation is becoming a very common thing. They do it in New York, they do it in Washington, and many other states. So they're looking at taking this landfill and making it very large. Landfills, by their nature, are very dangerous. They're tremendous problems regarding the environment as well as health issues. Even the EPA says that landfill liners will eventually leak, which not only leaks toxins and other particulate matter into the soil and potentially drinking water, but the biggest one is it creates a tremendous amount of toxic gases. Approximately 25% of all greenhouse gases, all of climate change, is due specifically to landfills. So out of these landfills come methane as well as carbon dioxide, and they can not only hurt the ozone, but they can also be very caustic health-wise. There's numerous studies across the country and throughout the world about the health problems of landfills, birth defects, asthmatic problem with children, and a whole range of other potential cancer-causing type of toxins and things that come out of these landfills. We're trying to fight this because of that, but it also will reduce our property values. No matter how far away you are from the landfill, if you're in Eloy and or Arizona City, you will have a reduction in your property values because of the landfill. Nobody wants to live near a landfill. So in essence, that's the picture I guess in a nutshell. What we're trying to do is to communicate to the city council how terrible of a decision this is. And the more people that we can have that write to the city council, that go out, hand out brochures, that attend council meetings, or get other people in the Eloy, Arizona City, actually central Arizona area aware of this, the higher the chances are we'll be able to get the city council to say no. Does anyone have any questions?
So I had something in our last newsletter about this, and what I'd like to ask everybody to do, I'll share it. I'll send out an email or something to everyone. I'm going to give you the city council members, Eloy City Council members' email addresses. And whether you live in Eloy or Arizona City or Casa Grande, contact them and tell them you're worried about this from an environmental perspective, an image perspective, whatever, and tell them that you're concerned and ask them to consider other alternatives before entering into this long-term lease.
So
Yes.
that
Go ahead.
that's my question is like, what are the alternatives? How do you oppose it without just being a NIMBY, you know?
Well, it's a good question, Gail. Robin, I think that in most cases, if you just look at the decision, should we have a landfill or shouldn't we have a landfill? There are so many environmental concerns and problems with these. I just sent an article out today from San Diego, where they have several landfills in the San Diego County area that are all leaking. They're leaking what they call a leachate, which is toxic waste chemicals down into the drinking water. They send all sorts of chemicals in the air. So, you know, the real alternative is not to expand the landfill and literally shut it down. They had a study done in 2019, I believe, by a company called Alta, and they're an engineering firm that deals with landfills and environmental kind of analysis. They came up with the same recommendation. They said, do not expand the landfill, and you really should shut this down. In a best case scenario, put a transfer station there, which in essence is just a big dumpster that people dump into, and they come and cart that off once a week or once a month, depending on the volumes. So, you know, the answer to your question is there are a multitude of other answers other than trashing our community. And it's the health, it's the environment, it's the contribution to global warming. There's just so many factors. The only positive that the city can even talk about is the revenue that they'll get off of this landfill. And they claim that the existing business, i.e. landfill, is failing. I have offered, at last count, 22 times now to the mayor, the city council members, to anybody they would like. I'll help them fix the business problem at the landfill. That's a simple problem. It's just a revenue and expense issue of looking at it, you know, realistically, like you would look at any business. The answer is not to expand this thing to the point where all of our health will be at risk and everyone in the area will be disappointed, especially in years to come. I've met with the executives from the company, from Republic Services, and they not only plan on expanding this, but they plan on expanding this much larger than the 160 acres as it sits today. They plan on leasing landfill space to other trash haulers, not only in Arizona, but from out of state as well. They're even going to be putting offices down here. They told me this directly. They'll have even such a volume, they're going to put offices down here. They are designing exit routes off of I-10. They're going to bring the trash from Phoenix to get off at Toltec, and they're going to bring the trash from Tucson to get off at Sunshine Boulevard, because there's going to be so much truck traffic and so much trash. So in a roundabout way, there's lots of alternatives, one being closing it, one being fix the small little landfill and just keep it small for people in the community like they've done for the past 60 years to dump, you know, the old refrigerator in there, or, you know, maybe the leaves that we raked last week. But other than that, there's really no part for a landfill in our community. You know, let me just add one thing. You're going to be sorry you asked a question, because I'm hard to shut up. Is what they're doing is, if you look at the trash industry, and that's where I started this whole thing. I did research on the trash industry, and whether you're talking about New York City or Phoenix, Arizona, trash companies are running out of places to put trash. as Americans, we are generating more trash year after year after year. It keeps growing, and cities don't want them. Coolidge closed their landfill. Apache Junction is closing their landfill. Most landfills across the United States are looking for ways to close. So all the trash companies are in a pinch, and they're going, my gosh, we've got to find somewhere to put all this trash. So they pick small communities like Eloy because there's very little political pressure here. There's lots of cheap, inexpensive land, and there's lots of land that they can grow with. They can expand this many, many, many times as they can buy up cotton fields and other land that exists out here. So it's the perfect scenario for the trash companies to be able to develop their trash receptacle for the future. Did I answer your question?
You did, except that then I'm still left with the question of where does the trash go? But maybe
trash now,
that's not.
The trash that do you live in Arizona City or?
Yeah.
Okay, your trash and Eloy's trash go down to Red Rock. They don't go to the Eloy landfill. So there is none of our local trash is picked up by right of way and taken to the Eloy landfill. It all goes other places. The Eloy landfill is just a little community landfill that's basically there. It's been there for 60 years just for a small place for contractors, et cetera, to dump trash. No big companies dump trash there now. So it's not like we are a trash landfill and we're just going to become bigger. We're really not one today, but they want to make us into one. Does that help?
Yeah, some.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't take trash there, so we wouldn't be losing. If we close that landfill down today, the only guy it's going to affect is the guy that trims your bushes, because he's going to probably have to take his grass clipping somewhere else. That's pretty much the entire effect of this.
So as I said, this is a big issue, whether you live in Arizona City, Casa Grande, and certainly Eloy. I'm going to continue to provide information. We'll use our email list to do that. And again, I'm going to ask everybody, take a minute and send an email to the city council. So Deb and Larry, did you have a question? We need to move on soon. So
okay, just really quick. I don't know how many of you were here in the late 80s or early 90s when they wanted to turn the Osarco mine pit, which is visible from space, into the biggest dump in the Western world. And we members of Casa Grande, we got together. We were on Phoenix News a lot. We made a lot of noise and prevented that from happening. But they had sent down tons of lawyers and very intimidating meetings. There were a whole bunch of them, and our city council was really seduced and thinking, oh yeah, why don't we be the trash capital of the Western world? And trash would have come in from all over the country. Because of where we are on the interstates connections, there was that. They were thinking of trash coming in on trains. There was trash, to fill this space. So I do appreciate, Phil, all the work that you've done and your knowledge. And I just think you really have to make a lot of noise about this because the money talks. But that's all I'll say. Thank you.
You betcha. And it's really a matter of getting the word out. And if you, Robin, or anyone has any questions for me directly, if Ralph has my email, I would be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Or if you have any suggestions for us, we're an open book. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Phil? Do you
Yes.
want me to put your email in the chat?
If you'd like to, sure.
Okay, and also I wanted everyone to know that I put the address of the website on there. And if you click on that, you can find the addresses, email addresses and phone numbers for the Eloy City Council members.
And we'll send that out. We'll send that out in a blast to everybody that's on here today as well. So we'll make it as available as possible. Encourage you to take some action. So Phil, thank you very much. You're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of our meeting. I appreciate you being here and filling us in, and I'll continue to work with you directly on all we're doing to make some noise and get attention.
I appreciate the opportunity, and it was nice to meet you all. And I'm going to go ahead and get off because I don't want to hear any of your secrets.
We're gonna make the sausage now.
All right. You all have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. As I said, I introduced Catalina Hall, LD11's chair, and Catalina wants to address us for a couple of minutes and fill us in. So Catalina, unmute and the mic is yours.
Hello, I hope you can hear me. I have a very, very etchy, sketchy internet, but I hope you all can hear me. And I just want to thank you for letting me be at your meeting. I know this, I haven't ever attended before, and I apologize for that, but Thursday nights are a little edgy around here also. I just want you to know that Ralph has always been an inspiration to me. He just emanates energy. And that's all it really takes sometimes, is just to listen to someone as vocal and as positive as he is. I don't think we're going to be very far away from each other. If the IRC map number 10 goes through, Picture Rocks, where I live, which is very rural, will be in LD 16 with you and part of Maricopa County. And it will be vast. It will be very difficult to get around from one side and one top to bottom. But that's what we're going to have to do. I don't have any faith in the fact that that'll be changed. So we will have a lot to do in this area. And knowing about the Eloy landfill problem, things like this are things that I need to know about. So I believe that you all should be able to get my home telephone number. Leave me a message if you ever have a concern or question, or you just want to vent. But I thank you all. You keep up the good fight. I love the fact that we all feel this. I think we all feel the same way about Ralph. And Robin did a wonderful job this past month on our LD11 newsletter. And some people even read my letter, which I really appreciate. And it's all due to Robin putting out such a great letter. I think that's all I really have to say, but at any time you can call me, write me, it's fine. Thank you.
Thanks, Catalina. I'm putting your phone number in the chat. So you told people to call you, so I'm going to give them the information. All right. So interesting. Catalina gave us a great segue into redistricting. And redistricting at the state legislative level is one thing, but there's a lot going on with redistricting at the congressional level. And basically that's what our LD or our Democrats at Casa Grande volunteer kickoff and canvas was about. We wanted everybody to have information about how they still can make a difference with the independent redistricting committee, get your voice heard, get information to the committee, and hopefully impact what's going on with the final maps being drawn. So with that, Annika, are you
Yes, hi.
ready? All right, here's Annika Albrecht, who is the campaign manager for Tom O'Halloran in what is right now Congressional District 1, but we'll see what happens, and hopefully we keep Tom, and Annika's going to tell us how we can make an impact to do just that.
Yeah, so first of all, sorry about that. I was just on the phone with Tom a couple of minutes ago, and good news is it looks like Build Back Better, the reconciliation, is going to pass tonight. They're actually about to go vote on it. Tom just let me know that the last few moderates, obviously Tom was not against the bill ever, but some of his moderate colleagues were, and those last few moderates are now on board. So they're reporting that Stephanie Murphy's on board and Kurt Schrader's on board. So I'm not a House expert. I'm on the campaign side, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like it should pass tonight. Again, we've been told that before. So no hard promises, but it sounds like it's going to pass. So just give me 1 second. Of course, now my computer is not sharing. Oh. Can I be made host so that I can?
Yes, I didn't know you were going to be wanting to share, so absolutely, just give me.
I'm so sorry, Debbie.
That's
I should have let you know. I promise I will.
Okay.
If not, I can just talk.
No, you're in. You should be able to get in now.
Oh, great. Okay. So what I have for you guys is just this one pager that really isn't anything super fancy, but just wanted you guys to be able to see it in case you prefer to read it or as opposed to hear me say it out loud. But we're working on redistricting. What's currently happened, I'll show a picture of the map. This is the current draft map that the Independent Redistricting Committee has proposed. They have taken, as you can see, they renumbered everything. And they renumbered what is currently District 1, and they've called it Draft Map District 2. But this is still where Tom O'Halloran is, and Tom O'Halloran will be running. As you can see, it's shifted a little bit. Most notably, they cut Casa Grande out. They cut you all out and Saddlebrook out. And they put Prescott in. That moved the district from an R+2 to an R+12. So that's thinking about putting it from about Arizona to about Alabama. So that's not good. We'll still fight like heck if it's an R+12, but we need this to be, we are fighting for this to be a competitive district like it currently is. And in the current district, sometimes Democrats win, sometimes Republicans win. In 2016, Donald Trump won the district, but so did Tom. In 2020, Biden won the district. So that's what's considered a truly competitive district. In the current draft map District 2, this big blue one, they measured 9 races and Republicans won all 9 times. So that's not really a competitive district if Republicans are winning not every single time or one party is winning. So what we're doing is we're trying to, I know so many of you have heard from me already, so I'm not even going to go over Prop 106, as you guys are all very familiar with this. But where we're at is they've drawn these maps that have moved it from an R+2 to an R+12, and we're asking everybody to go out and speak about the map. You can testify virtually, or you can testify in person, or you can testify online. So there's multiple ways. The hearings in your part of the state have actually already ended. So we are encouraging all of you to testify virtually. There will be more virtual trainings, in which case you can, or virtual hearings where you can sign up at this link. I can copy and paste it into the chat as soon as I'm done sharing my screen. And then they'll get you on the nearest virtual hearing for you. And if you're uncomfortable public speaking, then we're really trying to get people to submit written comment. And if you want to do that right now, right this second, you can hold your phone up and your camera to the screen and scan it, and it'll bring up a website where you can submit a comment. And this is just like if you've been going out to restaurants lately, a lot of restaurants are doing this. So what we're asking is that you either sign up for a training to testify in person, or over if you're willing to drive a distance, or virtually, because that's the #1 most effective way. And if you aren't comfortable or aren't able to do that, we ask that you submit a written comment. And in terms of talking points, what we're trying to do is really emphasize that competitiveness point. So we're trying to say this district is not currently drawn competitive. However you want to say that. I think that the strongest argument that we've seen is you looked at 9 races. one party won all 9 races, that's not competitive. If one party is going to win every single race, that's not competitive. And then you can explain why competitiveness is important to you. And so then once you say the competitiveness argument, we want you to add a bullet point so that you can say that you want to be in a rural county, because in order to make this kind of holistic approach, we will need to take a few Republican areas off the map and add in a few more or less Republican areas, such as your guys' areas. So that's what we're trying to do. And by saying that you guys would prefer to be in a rural district as opposed to with a big city like Tucson, then that will help guide the commissioners to put you back into our or the draft district 2, and hopefully make draft district 2 more competitive. So the 2 talking points again are just competitiveness and a rural district. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, that was a lot.
When is this hearing, the deadline for this hearing?
So the deadline is December 4th. We're in the 30-day public comment period right now. After December 4th, they will stop taking public comment.
Okay.
Larry, did you have a question?
I did. Can you submit more than one online? Like Ralph sent out a really good thing with the meeting, explaining us what to do. And I submitted one, but can I submit another, or is it like one per person?
So in short, they haven't told us. I can't imagine that if one person submits 50 comments, they're going to take all 50 into consideration. But if you want to submit one about competitiveness and you forgot to mention that you'd like to be in a rural district, feel free to go back and add that in. Or I know like Ann Heitland up in Coconino County Democrats has been submitting weekly comments as things, she's been adding new aspects to her arguments. So kind of expanding on her arguments. So we think that will make a difference. What I don't think will make a difference is if you copy and paste the same comment and submit it several times. I'm sorry, that's not a great answer, but we haven't been given a true answer by the commission.
That was a good answer. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good.
So any other questions? I did it with the QR code using my phone, and it took less than a minute. All they ask is your name, first and last name, and your zip code. So you're not going to have to give any additional information other than that. And then you type in your comment, and they give you quite a bit of space to type in a rather long comment if you want to, or you can be brief. But the main thing is to do it. Annika, isn't this something that we spoke about, that Republicans are commenting as well?
Yes. So Republicans are very good, as you guys have seen, are very good at mobilizing people in rural areas. And so our job is to outnumber the Republicans. That's actually something I'm going to be doing on my Thursday night tonight. I'll be going through the comments and tallying how many have been commented on the Republican side and how many are on the Democratic side. Right now, we've been going through all the hearings, and we are slightly outnumbering the Republicans, probably about a 5 to a 4 ratio. We've got the momentum. We are outnumbering them. But unfortunately, the chairwoman has been siding with the Republicans. And so this is just my opinion. I have no proof, but it is my opinion that if we really want her to take this seriously, we're going to have to outnumber them even more than 5 to 4. We're going to have to get them like, I don't know, 3 to 2 or 2 to 1 ratio.
So make sure you do this. It'll only take you a minute or two. And we're going to send up the same information that Annika put up on the screen. We'll get it out to everybody again. Time is crucial. We need to get this done soon, so don't delay. And then share it with other people. If you know any Democrats, we're going to continue canvassing, as I said, and this is what we're leading with at every door, is asking Democrats. We're going to only doors of Democrats right now. We're not trying to convince anybody to vote for anybody. We're trying to convince Democrats to weigh in on this crucial issue. So if you know anybody in your neighborhood, friends, relatives, ask them to do this as well. It only takes a couple of minutes and the impact would be significant.
Yes, exactly what Ralph said. We've got to make our argument louder. We've got to be stronger in order to make this effective. And this will honestly determine the next congressional maps for the next 10 years. And it could determine whether we keep our congressional majority in Arizona. And I would like to keep our congressional majority. And we can only do that if we have fair and competitive maps. So I hope you'll submit a comment advocating for fair and competitive maps.
Yeah, I don't want to scare anybody, but just think, if you watch the news, if you watch MSNBC, certainly, the prospect of losing the House of Representatives brings, it's just horrible what will happen. Not what could happen, what will happen. The insurrection will never be, investigation will be over and done with. There'll be subpoenas going out for every Democrat across the board agency. It'll be retribution for 2 years at least. And I wouldn't put it past them to drum up something to get revenge for the impeachment and raise that against Biden. So please, this is important. And then once we secure these maps to our favor, a little bit to our favor, then we're going to start campaigning to get Democrats elected, right? One step at a time. This is first. Anything else you'd like to add, Annika?
No, just thank you guys all so much for your help. It's like truly, it's going to be able to make a huge difference. As I've told Ralph, you guys are going to be one of the most important spots for redistricting as we fight for a more competitive district. So we really, really appreciate all you guys are doing.
Well, we appreciate you and everything that Tom is doing for us, even on a night like this where he's working overtime. So tell him we appreciate what he's doing and thank him for us.
I will.
All right. So now we're going to have open mic. Anybody want to talk about any topic at all? There are some issues that have been circulating around, school override issues. We talked about the landfill. There's a lot of things that we could talk about. So anybody want to kick us off with something? Roger, you've got a lot of things going on with the Democrats at Robeson Ranch. You want to fill us in on what's going on with you?
Well, we are in the process of putting together some sort of meeting that would be a homeowners-wide meeting on the landfill issue. And I'm not involved in the planning of this, but the plan at the moment is to actually do a bipartisan meeting by involving the Republican club here in Robeson Ranch as well as the Democratic club. We'll see how that goes. But that's the plan at the moment here, and it's probably going to happen sometime after Thanksgiving.
Anyone else have? Also, I'm looking for suggestions on speakers tonight. I invited a couple of candidates. They couldn't make it. I'm going to do that again for January, and I'd like to continue certainly into the election season, having candidates speak. But is there any other kind of speaker, topic speaker that anybody would like to suggest, or an activity for the club other than canvassing and meeting?
Ralph?
Yeah.
When I go out canvassing, I'm also working with Healthcare Rising Arizona. And we're
Hey,
collecting
Google, turn on the light.
signatures on the predatory debt collection. So is it okay if when I canvass for the redistricting, I can bring my
Sure.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can keep people's attention for that long a time and get them engaged on an issue, do it. And then hand them a Democrats at Casa Grande club card so they know that we're their place to get information and connect with those kinds of issues. So absolutely.
I think that's a great issue because everybody can relate to that. That's one of those bipartisan issues. I saw that when you were talking about it at the Eloy Festival. People are like, yeah, so they see that as apolitical. So I love that as a way in because everybody knows either they're affected by healthcare costs, or predatory practices, or they know someone who is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stevie.
And Marty, you can write something up for our newsletter on any of those or both of those issues, and we'll include it in that. So,
well, and if anybody has not signed this petition and wants to, they can call me and I can go over and have you sign it.
Okay.
Provide it. So
yeah,
I will
sure.
put my phone number in the link.
Okay.
I have a quick question for Roger. Roger, are you part of the Blue Wave?
The Blue Wave?
Yes.
Well, I'm a Democrat, if that's what you mean.
No, the club that Don's got.
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with that at all.
It's in Robeson.
No, it was in Mission Royale, I think.
Oh, that's right. He's in Mission. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I've talked to Diane Calvin about him and that group, and they, as far as I know, the last I heard, they are pretty much a non-entity right now. So I don't know if anything's going on with the group, but as far
there's a lot of talk with them on Nextdoor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I see them too. And I have, I didn't get to it this time, but I have extended meeting invitations for our group here on that site. And I don't know that anybody's responded.
I don't think so. There's none that I've seen on any of our Zooms. I think his name is Don Cristofaro or something like that.
Yes, that's him.
I've communicated with him directly, and to be honest, he hasn't responded in any way that made me feel like he was wanting to do anything outside of the kind of social group that they have in Mission Royale. So
right, yeah, he's really busy doing things other than this, but we've had a couple heated discussions on it, and they don't like that, so they take us off.
Oh, well, if any of their members want to engage with us, we'd be happy to invite them to join us. And
yeah, I've done that too.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Questions, suggestion?
One thing I forgot real quick, I did get a call from Selena, and right now they are partnering with RIP, Rest in Peace something or other. And this organization, for every signature I get, they will pay off somebody's medical debts.
So who is Selena?
Washburn. She's the one that I is my contact person for Healthcare Rising.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is a wonderful thing for people that have medical debt, and this organization, RIP something, is supposed to help pay off some debt here in Arizona.
RIP sounds like it's after that, but I'm sure the letters stand for something else. But,
yeah, I can't remember what.
All right, so anybody else, suggestions, questions, comments, criticisms? All right, we're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep trying to get people out door knocking. I'm if you know me, I push direct contact with voters. It's the best way to get our message across. And whether we're talking about issues, redistricting, something that Marty's talking about with issues that people have in their daily lives, talking about candidates, direct voter contact is the most effective and efficient way to do that. So I'm hoping to get everybody out door knocking. We're going to not ask you to go outside of your neighborhood unless you want to. And we'll keep you in your precinct and talking to people, maybe the same people a couple of different times over a few months so that we build up relationships that we can then turn into volunteers to help us during the election cycle. So unless he's got something else, I'm going to remind you the next meeting is January 27th. If anybody wants to get together over the holidays for some informal dining and whining and dining, I'm all for it. But January 27th, that's the fourth Thursday, we will have speakers. We will have the election of our vice chair and secretary. I'm hoping that we can meet in person. We're going to let COVID decide that for us. If it's calmed down, we're going to push for in person. And if we do in person, we're going to say you have to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test. We're not going to just say, hey, come on in and spread disease. So we'll be strict on that kind of stuff. I'm going to invite Adrian Fontes, who's the Democratic candidate for Secretary of State, and Lauren Kuby, who's the Democratic candidate for the Arizona Corporation Commission. They couldn't make it tonight, but hopefully they will in January.
You got another question here, Ralph?
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Not me.
Hi, Catalina.
Catalina?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I hope you can hear me. I just wanted to invite you all to the November LD 11 meeting, which will be on the 27th, 2 days after Thanksgiving. And that's when we're going to make the awards of the funds to different clubs. And I think your club might be one of the finalists. Don't quote me because I'm only the chair. But I think you might have. I think you might have made it, and I'd like to see you there.
All right, and we'll share that information with our group. One last announcement, a reminder: lunar eclipse tonight. I'll see you outside, looking at the moon. We can all look at the moon at the same time. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody! Thanks for being here, and thanks for all you're doing to help get Democrats elected.